The main Apache configuration file is the subject of some substantial books. We can only scratch the surface in these videos, but we will give you the basic skills to use Apache. Open the httpd.conf configuration file. As you scroll through it, you'll see it organized into three basic sections. First, directives associated with the global environment affect the overall operation of Apache. Next, directives in the main server configuration section set up default directives not otherwise configured in a virtual host container. Finally, the section related to virtual hosts can help you configure multiple websites using a single IP address. And this is the basic way most lower-cost web hosts are configured today. The Global Environment section includes some basic directives, such as server root, which is the top-level directory for Apache. By default, it's set to the etc/httpd directory. Let's take a look at this directory. Specifically, I've run the ls-l command on that directory. It has a couple of configuration subdirectories and some soft links to various other directories. Next, the listen directive defines the port on which Apache listens. 80 is the default. And pay attention, I wouldn't be terribly surprised if this port number were messed up on the troubleshooting portion on one of your exams. Next, the include directive, shown here, literally incorporates directives from files, as the server root directive specifies etc/httpd. The effect of this directive is to include all .conf files from the etc/httpd/conf.d directory. Finally, the user and group are set to the Apache user, which you should be able to verify in files like etc/password and etc/group. Next, let's look at the main server configuration section. The document root directive specifies the top-level root directory for actual website files if you don't configure virtual hosts on this server. By default, it's set to var/www/html. Pay attention to the security-enhanced Linux context in this directory, which you can verify with the ls-Z var/www command. You'll need those later. Next, take a look at the directive shown here. This is called a directory container. This is the start of the directory container, and this is the end of the directory container. Note the comment here, which allows you to configure user-based security on a website subdirectory. And the directives shown here allow you to set up host-based security. And we'll use these directives in another video. Next, the directory index directive. It specifies the name of the default web page to look for when the URL cites a directory. If it doesn't cite a directory, it looks for the index.html file in the document root directory, in this case var/www.html. If you specify a website subdirectory, say your URL is example.net and the subdirectory is more, it looks for index.html in the var/www.html/more directory. Finally, there's the virtual server configuration. And for your convenience, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, at least the default version of their Apache configuration file, includes some suggestions for how to configure a virtual host. And we'll use those in another video. When you do, you'll probably want to create your own URL, something different from dummyhost.example.com, and should substitute accordingly.